Hi there, it's Lisa Cuneo and welcome to my scrapbook table. Today I wanted to start with just a little bit of where my plan came from for this. So if you've watched my videos lately, you might have seen that I have been doing photos from our visit to the Georgia Aquarium last spring. And so I have these two of the penguins. I have these two of just general photos and a little bit of journaling. I also put extra photos in this pocket page. Sometimes I decorate these. I'm not doing that this time. But what I am going to do is create a one-page layout here that's kind of an introduction. And here are the photos that I'm going to put on there. Full disclosure, I did not take these photos. I took one very much like this, but the shadow was it showed up better on this one. So I printed these from their website. I know this one was from the website. This one might have been as well. Anyway, they're not my photos, but they tell my story. And then back here, I will do one more layout with just a few other pictures, and there will be some journaling at the beginning and at the end. And then this pocket page will finish up our visit to the aquarium. I hope to soon finish up our visit to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum in Atlanta, and that will finish up our Atlanta trip from last spring. So what I'm using for probably both of these pages, but at least the first one, is this vintage Artistry Everywhere kit. I actually have two of these, and I've used part of one before. I am going to see if I can find it, but I might have given it away, so I'm not sure. Anyway, there is enough in this collection, or in this kit, to create these four layouts. I am creating this one. I will have to fiddle with it a little bit to have room for both of those photos, because I don't want to cut that down, the larger one down, any further. Here's some cut aparts. Here's some chipboard. Lots of pieces to pop out of these. This cardstock. This looks like chicken wire. Some titles. Some leafy things. A favorite banner. And a lot of this could be used not for travel. Like these leaves wouldn't necessarily need to be travel. This piece of trim is not necessarily travel. Lots of the layers or labels and tickets and tabs and things could be used in all sorts of layouts. To maps. I love maps. That's one of my favorite things. Here's some more layering pieces. Might as well pull that one out of there since it's halfway out. A great little Viewmaster, some stamps. This is chipboard. Part of this is used on the layout I'm going to create next. And then there are 4 pieces of cardstock for the 4 layouts. And I didn't know this the first time I bought a page kit, but on the back of each piece of cardstock is the layout that you create. Now this one's flat, and when you create it with all of this stuff, it has all sorts of dimension on it. I never realized that. It took me forever to put 2 and 2 together and get 4. But anyway, that's what that's about. So you can know that without having to feel silly like me. So that's this one. I love this piece of paper. I love the map on here, but the really soft colors. And I think you can see this faux stitching here. I'm kind of tempted to actual stitch it. I might have to do that when I decide to use this one. But here's the layout that you create with this one. Pretty circle around there. So this is that one. I like that. And last but not least is the one I am going to use today. So I'm going to use this side to build it. And here is basically what it will look like. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to map my photos and pull out all the pieces that I need, and then I'll be back. So I'm back, and I have put down the really thin laser cut piece that looks like chicken wire and the circle. It's chipboard that goes around there, and there are some like numbers that have to do with like must be degrees on a map or something. I flip it over a couple times throughout the process to look at the example on the back, and I also have the small example to my right there that I refer to sometimes. Since my photo block is bigger than the one that is planned, I decided to take these two strips that are to span across behind the photos, split them in half so that you can see a little bit more of them than you would have if I hadn't done that. So I put the stripe down, and then I realized that because of the chipboard, I need to use some dimensionals behind what's on the far right to keep that up and level with the chipboard. I end up not doing that for what's going to be behind the photos because it won't really matter. In fact, I could have kept half of this piece for something else, but I could have split it again. I just decided, no, let's just do what we're doing. So there we go. Those strips are both down now. And I'm going to just use some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive to put these two pieces behind my pictures, and they're going to leave a gap, but I end up filling that gap with some embellishments, and I think it's okay. Partway through watching the video afterward, I realized something I wish I had done instead, and I'll show you that in a minute, but it was too late, and I'm still happy with the layout. So now I'll put this in place. I do end up doing some journaling in that white space left there. I thought about putting my title there, but I end up not. And what's next? Oh, there is this leaf cluster that's in the sample, and I debated for a while whether to put it on here or not. I'm like, but leaves have nothing to do with this. And then I'm like, Lisa, lace has nothing to do with this. And there's like that lacy border. Chicken wire has nothing to do with this. So I just went ahead and did it. And I have, over the last few years, I have become much less literal about what's on my pages. Now this right here is where I had put my title, but I ended up not. And it was already glued down once I realized I wish I had done it differently. Trying to move it was going to probably wrinkle the title, tear my background paper, and I just decided I needed to leave it where it was. So now I'm building a tiny embellishment cluster here to the right. Not tiny, I guess. It has a chipboard compass rose, some binoculars, and a little button. It looks like a button. It's actually paper. There's even paper thread, so it looks like it has been tied with thread. I had to use a little bit of dimensionals behind that compass rose to build it up because it is laying on top of another piece of chipboard. And there I'm gluing down the button. There's some buttons in a couple other places too. These are two stamps, one blue, one green. I just layer them up. And this is going to be part of what fills in the gap that's between those two photo frames. So those go there. I do have to bump the tops of them up a bit. And like I'm doing now, sometimes I just use my scissors as a pair of tweezers to put Stampin' Dimensionals where I want them. This is a chipboard piece that says destination. Over toward the right, there's already a word phrase. It says on an adventure. That one's not chipboard, it's just paper. And there we go. All right. If you're new to my channel, I'm really glad that you're here. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate my viewers. I appreciate my subscribers. I really love it when I get a comment. So if you have something to say, I'd love to hear from you, or give me a thumbs up.
This layout wasn't for any particular hop or challenge or anything. I'm working on getting through these photos from a trip last April, so it's now been a year, and I'm not usually that far behind, but I try not to think of it that way. So now I do a little bit of journaling, and then I decide I want some splatter. So I use Distress Spritz in Uncharted Mariner. That's kind of appropriate for an aquarium layout. And my journaling just talks about how much we loved the Georgia Aquarium. If you ever get a chance to go there, please go. It's wonderful. You will not regret it. Here are some close-ups. There'll be still shots in a moment. Thanks again for being here today. I'm really glad you stopped by. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you get to scrapbook something soon yourself. Bye-bye.